Hey, this is Anney.
And Samantha.
And welcome to Stuff I Never Told You, a production of iHeartRadio.
And welcome to another edition of a Happy Hour. But today, it's going to be a happy hour and not an unhappy hour or a bit and wine, which I love. We'll come back to that soon, I'm pretty sure.
Sure.
But for today, if you are participating in happy hour activities, do so responsibly. Do everything responsibly. Take care of yourself. We need you.
Mm-hmm.
Currently not sponsored by any of the things that I mentioned. I feel like some of these things should be sponsoring us.
I often feel that way.
How do I get Costco as a sponsorship? Like, come on. I need a hot dog. Anyway, moving on. So I wanted to talk about a newfound joy that I have had as of recent. And it's me dabbling into the gardening world, which I feel like I've mentioned previously, because I'm very excited that I have produced tomatoes and have eaten some said tomatoes. I have produced jalapenos and I have eaten these jalapenos. And they're coming in and they're growing, and watching them grow is one of the most exciting things that I think have happened that I actually enjoy. And
I love that.
I've been on the quest for hobbies for a long time, which, by the way, I just watched a K-drama with this one girl who is like a workaholic and loves her work, but realized she needs to calm down and tries to find hobbies and can't find a one and is frustrated that she's not great at something. And I'm like, I can relate. But at the same time, I'm not a workaholic. Like, I don't even have that as an excuse, but whatever. But with that, so I have talked about the fact that I have killed plants. I kill many plants, succulents, ferns, more succulents, other things. Anyway, but this time around, I'm like, you know what? The world is ending. Maybe I should prep with some foods and see how far I can go with this. And Caroline, previous host, her and her partner are gardening fiends. Like, they have so much that they have done a CSA for some close friends. And I'm like, what in the world? And they are amazing. They've got greenhouses, they've got lettuce, they've got all kinds of kale and they are doing things. And like, I'm very cool. That's cool for you. I'm gonna watch. And Caroline has always been a plant person. Like, her house during the pandemic was like a jungle, and she was thriving on talking about these plants. Mm-hmm. And I just stared at her and nodded and was like, what? We are in two different worlds. We're not, but all of that to say, so I'm currently dabbling, and I have been really successful, because I know you've been really successful with your shishitos.
Yes, but yes. I
didn't mean
always
to set you up, but
eat them too quickly. But yes, I like a lot of shishitos.
We got to enjoy things. But I've been really successful with basil for the most part. Like, I had some when I lived in my apartment, and they died when I went on vacation for a week, and my neighbor kind of forgot about them. And I was very sad about this because I was doing great, and I named my plants. Can't help it. But one of the things, we got some basil recently. My partner's better at it than me, I think, when it comes to gardening and understanding what needs what and soils. But he's not better at remembering that they are there.
Yeah.
He kind of forgets, but he's great when he's on it. So we're a good team, I think, in that way. But so he's been he will put things that are easy. Green onions. We've got tons of green onions if you need those. I have a basil plant that I got, I want to say, at a grocery store that looked pretty good. And so I decided to go ahead and plant it. And it is huge. Even though the bugs are eating it, it's getting big. So I'm cutting it up, and then I'm propagating. So this joy of propagating, y'all. I was like, yes, look at the roots. Look at those roots. Even to the point that I went on vacation, and Anney dog sat, and I was like, hey, I need you to make sure the water is always full. That's all I care about. It don't need to be going anywhere else. That was part of the responsibilities that I put on her checklist. You did good.
Thank you.
And so then I planted those, and they are all but one. So about 5, I think, are thriving. One decided it did not like it. And it's kind of all brown and crusty, but it's okay, because I have more that are thriving, and I'm very, very excited. And so now all I'm doing is propagating basil plants. I am very excited about this, because I'm going to have them everywhere, which I love basil. probably is one of my favorite like herbs. Like it is definitely top two. Top two. Lemongrass is up there too. I don't use it often, but when I eat it, it's so good. It makes me so happy. You know, we have rosemary and we have thyme as well. We've kind of had bad luck with rosemary, but like it's now catching on. Like my partner had one that he propagated from a brewery and it grew. But like when we moved or when it has heat, like heat waves, which we've had, it's been bad this week. All of those things, it did not survive. But we finally got one that's going there, is getting there. And with that, Costco had a lot of their gardening section up because, you know, they do a lot of seasonal stuff. And they had tomato plants and peppers. And we were like, you know what? We're going to try this. We're going to try this. I think I want to test it. So my partner got a small, like, tub looking thing that's for a garden. And we had to put it in the front because that's where the most sunlight is. And y'all, the bell peppers are adorable and they're growing. My jalapenos are growing. Each one of them are thriving. Like for a minute, it was kind of touch and go because I think we waited a little too long to actually put them in the garden bed. Like we had them in their little container and it was not enough and we were gone. I think I made you water those, didn't I? Or at least make sure they are okay.
Yeah.
When it was not in the garden yet. Mm-hmm. But they have produced some fruit. I have been very excited. I've been watching out for birds. Like I'm about to fight some birds. I'm gonna fight them. I'm gonna fight them.
Good luck.
Annie, I'm gonna fight them. And you know, like it just kind of came back to like my thought process of like, you know, maybe this is. I mean, I've always heard that this is rewarding and therapeutic. And actually, when I was working with at-risk teens or juveniles, we would take them to plant things and have them go to gardens. And we would have them do like community service in gardens and planting trees. And they actually really loved these activities. Like as much as they would groan and complain about being hot and don't want to be there, when they loved it. I had kids who were like the hardest kids that were talking about, you know, the gain activity they were part of, asking about the trees that they planted. Like wanting pictures. And those that like, I forgot how amazing that is. And it really was a great time for me to bond with them, for them to see that I'm not just being here, that dorky adult telling you lies about the future. And they really like actually participated and enjoyed having those moments and being able to do something different. And I decided I wanted to go and look through and see all of the benefits because, you know, every now and again, in happy hours, we decided we want to research lightly, very lightly, just a few things. And actually one popped up, which was a study titled Gardening for Health, A Regular Dose of Gardening by Richard Thompson. And this is intensive gardening. This is what, again, Caroline and her partner do, not me. Like I'm barely out there, but like still loved this moment. But like, they say it combines physical activity with social interaction, exposure to nature and sunlight. Sunlight lowers blood pressure as well as increasing vitamin D levels in the summer, and the fruit and vegetables that are produced have positive impact on the diet. Working in the garden restores dexterity and strength, and the aerobic exercise that is involved can easily use the same number of calories as might be expended in a gym. Digging, raking, and mowing are particularly calorie intense. There's a gym outside many a window. The social interaction provided by communal and therapeutic garden projects for those with learning disabilities and poor mental health can counteract social isolation. Furthermore, it has also been reported that the social benefits of such projects can delay the symptoms of dementia, an effect that might be partly due to the beneficial effects of exercise. So, you know, like they are talking about this as a therapeutic level. And a lot of the studies that I've seen are talking about how different, like, health facilities and institutions have been using this and implementing this as a part of their process, that it is called horticultural therapy. And I was like, that makes so much sense. And of course, there was some more stuff like Mayo Clinic's health systems talk about how to start a garden. They talk about how routines provide structure to our day, are linked to improve mental health. Like the watering, weeding is just like soothing, rhythmic ease to stress. And I will say there's something like satisfying in pulling the roots of weed. Mm-hmm. I've had battles in our backyard with the pine trees that are trying to grow. They're baby pine trees. They smell delicious and they're kind of cute, but I'm like, no, I just paid thousands of dollars to get rid of a few of you because you were like at a danger to my house. So I would go through and like rip them up and pulling them out, but with all root and all.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit violent, but also very satisfying.
Yeah.
Very satisfying. If you do want to start a garden, I have a feeling most of our listeners are like, Samantha, where have you been? Why have you not done this previously? Come on. But if you are a novice like me and thinking about it, because again, I've killed so many plants, so this is a little bit worrisome, you know? Because if I fail, I'm going to be really hurt. Really hurt, you know? But the Mayo Clinic does talk about how to start one. They say start small. And yes, I did start small, but small with just a few plants, easy plants. I feel like tomatoes and the peppers are the essential beginnings, right? Then they say build a network, find people who are interested in gardening. I'm not ready for that yet. I don't need people to tell me what I'm doing wrong yet. If I decided we want to take a whole plot out, we'll have a conversation. I feel like if Caroline and her partner give me advice, sure. But right. I'm not networking for gardening friends yet. If our listeners have advice, I will take that too, because I feel like they're a trusted resource. Strangers, nah. Listeners who are my friends, yeah. Okay, I'll take that. Says research appropriate plants. And that's the other part to this is I've been really, really talking about like having native plants in the area that you're at that is in for your zone. Like that is such a common conversation that I'm like, oh, that makes sense. And as with climate change, things have changed. And therefore, maybe different plants can now grow here. Like we talk about wines, and I'm a little leery of sometimes like grapes and wines here because I'm like, we're not really built for that. But maybe now we are. Who knew? But with that, yeah, it's like also being conscientious of the environment. Because again, gardening, I'm not quite there yet to like flowers and like blooms and such. But in the understanding that the native plants are important to be here, there's also talking about conservation. You know, there's now a new debate. I feel like it's been happening for the last 10 years, but about, lawns and whether or not lawns are beneficial to the environment. Spoiler alert, apparently not. But at the same time, we have white supremacy. It was like, no, but it looks better and we like it. So you can't do native plants and lots of wildlife like that. Yeah, that's my voice for HOAs, which I'm not a part of because I'm not a fan. But all of that to say is I think like that's something that we've been talking about. My partner's really into that, really wishes that he loves a good like mow lawn. Like there's something like satisfying to see a crisply mowed lawn with that smell of grass, but understanding that we also want to help the environment, create a welcoming environment for the species that are dying out, that have been here, should be here, who've been here to help out the ecosystem, blah, blah, blah. I say blah, 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 and like this a lot of big conversation, but also realizing that that's something that we need to be researching as well. So that is something that I do have in the back of my head. I have a feeling we have some listeners be like, be careful. And of course, with that, we also wanted to talk a little more about the impacts in the health outcomes that talk about reduced symptoms of depression and anxiety, decrease in reporting stress and mood disturbances, decrease in BMI, which I don't know, whatever, higher reported sense of community. Thank you, healthymindsphilly.org, and improved cognitive function. So they add that. And again, they talk about horticultural therapy and how using gardening is a means to facilitate dialogue and skill building. And I think that's really important too. Like we're able to like survive, maybe recognize. I found out that some of the weeds in my backyard are called pork greens and they're edible. I thought they were weeds, but my neighbor, we love our neighbors like that. People take that and, make that into like collard greens. I was like collard greens, cook them like collard greens. And I was like, I love collard greens. What? So that might be an adventure that I have to try.
Yeah.
But of course, like when it comes to weeds that we find in the backyard, I'm really kind of weary because I don't know much about plants that I'm like, I don't want to end up like into the wild. You know what I'm saying?
Well, don't go wandering into the woods alone. At least be in your house. And hopefully your partner will find you and be like, no, get you help.
That's true. I'm gonna call Anney and be like, I want to eat this. Check on me in an hour. I'm just kidding. But yes, like finding stuff like that is pretty interesting to me. And I feel like learning these things and being able to survive just in cases. We have blackberries in our backyard. Was very excited about that too. Again, it talks about reduced mental fatigue, lower stress, better protection against illnesses, and overall feeling better with your health. And I could see a lot of that. So yeah, I am. Annie got me a little journal.
I did.
To go into this. So I'm about to pull it out and like talk about my progression. Y'all, I'm excited. The peppers, Annie, you're going to come over this week and I hope to show it off, but they're cute.
I love friends who have gardens, and I especially love when they give the fresh produce to me.
You can have a lot of basil. I got so much basil.
You know I love it. I always am using it. Today I had a caprese salad.
Oh, yeah. Last time you came over, you're like, basil. I was like, just get in the garden.
Yeah.
Did you go get it in the garden?
No, because I had some already and I needed to use that. If I had used the some that I brought with me, what I brought with me, then I would have.
Okay. Well, next time. Next time.
I like to add it to my ramen. I like to make like a kind of faux pho situation.
Yeah. The basil comes in clutch on that for sure.
Yeah. So yes, I'm very excited about this too. I'm very happy. I love tomatoes. I love peppers. This is all exciting. So I'm very glad to get this update. It is also kind of funny to me because my mom both has a friend who grows so much produce that every time I see her, she gives me some, and it's a ridiculous amount of produce. I can't even. Like you open her little fridge box and it's
all
just
canned?
It's just collard greens in bags, frozen. Yeah,
that's amazing.
It's amazing. It's amazing. But she doesn't really grow produce. She has some herbs, but she has a huge garden of flowers. And it's funny to me because she grumbles about it because it's hot where we are and it takes her like an hour to water all of them. But I can tell she kind of, it's a thing. Like you said, every night I got to go out and do this.
Yes.
Unless it's rained. And
even
she's
if
outside.
It's rained, it's so hot, it evaporates so quickly.
Gosh. Right now, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's the benefit to that. Like, my mother loves a garden and is very proud of it. She also, like, she grumbles about it because she is hurting a little bit, but at the same time, she can't not do it. Like, it's kind of a pride thing, and it's gorgeous. Like, every time I come out there, it feels like I'm going through a fairyland.
Yeah. My mom's is too. And I think it does add, like, if you care about your plants, it's harder to, as opposed to a workout, maybe.
Yeah.
It's harder to kind of skip on it.
Yeah.
Because you don't want
having
them
a
to
dog
die.
or a pet.
Yeah. I don't want it to die. So
the plant parent thing got huge in the last 5 years.
It really did. It is sad when one died. I had a really good basil plant that lasted me for years. And then one day...
It hurt my feelings.
Ants just came in and killed it. And I was like, why?
Yeah. It hurts my feelings.
It is sad. Well, hopefully, best of luck.
Yes, I got a lot more now.
I'm very excited to see it next time we hang out. But listeners, please, yes, let us know if you have any tips, if you have pictures of your garden or any thoughts about gardening, stories. We would love to hear them. You can email us at hello@stuffmonevertoldyou.com. You can find us on Blue Sky at Mom Stuff Podcast or on Instagram and TikTok at Stuff I Never Told You. We're also on YouTube and we have a book you can get wherever you get your books. Thanks as always to our super producer Christina, our executive producer Maya, and our contributor Joey.
Thank you.
And thanks to you for listening. Stuff I Never Told You is a production by iHeartRadio. For more podcasts from iHeartRadio, you can check out the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcast, or wherever you listen to your favorite shows.